Hi, Matthew Woodard here, business start and growth expert. So you're thinking about starting a business as an auctioneer. Okay, here's some things you need to think about. First thing, think about if there's a need in your locality for an auctioneer. It seems to me that specialised types of auctioneers work far better than those that generalise, i.e. you need to sell things that people want, not just junk, otherwise they'll die a death. It may be in your part of the world that you need a license to act as an auctioneer, or you need to go to some kind of auctioneer school. So look what qualifications that you need to work in your country or state. In the UK, I don't believe there are any at all. If you contrast that to America, there appear to be quite a few that are required there. Premises really are key in this game. The biggest thing I think is parking. You also need to be quite local to conurbations, so people know where you are and they can find you and there's people around you. But parking and premises very key in this, and they can be quite expensive. Think about what you want to sell. The best thing to do here is to look around and see what people around you charge. The first thing you need to think of is, are you going to charge a buyer's premium for things that are sold? This might be 10% or something like that, or it may be that you're not going to charge. This will get your business going quicker, probably cut your profits down a bit. Depends on what those around you do. So what are you going to sell? There's some examples here. It basically revolves around the theory that smaller things has a higher percentage, and bigger things with value in them is a lower percentage. There's some examples here of the sorts of rates that are charged in the UK at this time. Cars, vans a little bit higher. And what you can do here is you can look at the units that you feel you're going to sell, and multiply this by the quantity or the percentage, and this will give you some ideas of figures that you might start to include in your cash flow and this sort of thing, to see what the business might bring in. Okay, I wouldn't run your auctions all of the time. Make them a bit of a special type of event. In rural locations, this might be less, and you may have, perhaps on larger machinery, a quarterly auction as opposed to a weekly one. Contrast that to something like cars and vans. This might warrant something that's weekly. Again, you've got to look what happens locally to you. It's basically what it comes down to. Setup costs. Coming back to premises, can be expensive. Parking, a massive part of this. Your rent might be payable quarterly in advance, and watch for some kind of rates on large sites. Watch out for those rates. They can be a lot more expensive than what you're expecting. What sort of things do you need? A speaker system, good quality speaker system, some printing of the lot numbers, computer system and software, laptops or desktops to run that software on, a printer. I recommend some kind of logo design and branding. You want to be pushing your auction so people recognise it. There may be some alterations to premises. You also need to think about your working capital. With some types of auctions, you are required to offer accounts. In the UK, this is certainly true in the agricultural sector, so take care. You might not want to start off doing this. It might be too expensive for you to finance. So, should you start an auction business? Well, the experience is totally different to things like eBay and this sort of thing. People have the opportunities to see their purchase. Develop your skills on appraising things. How much are they worth? Consider your experience. Have you ever run an auction? Have a go at running one somewhere. Is this for you? Could you do it all of the time? Can you run an interesting auction? Are you able to package up some good jokes? Not something I'm very good at, but you need to make it fun. Yeah, you need to make it fun. Are there auctioneers in your locality? I would suggest you network with them. People that are out of town may spend a bit of time with you, talking to you. Look at your competitors. Are there competitors around you? I think if there are, that's probably quite a good sign. Look for gaps in what they do. Ask around. Primary market research is key in any business. Ask people if they would use what you do. I drone on about all of the time, really important. Online promotions, we're in the day now of Facebook and all kinds of online things. So what are your skill sets like? What are your skill sets like? Do you know about boosting? You need to know these things. You need a website, a web presence for your auctioneers. Look at something like the saleroom.com where people can bid remotely. Mailing lists are useful too, things like MailChimp, this type of thing. So you can get lists out, tell people what you're up to, what you're selling. In the UK, and Europe, you need to take care with GDPR. There may be some kind of legislation in your state or country. In the UK, there's legislation around selling electrical things. In the UK, we call it PAT testing. And there may be a cost, maybe £5 per item. Think about this in your costing. Quite often it makes it uneconomical to sell small electrical things. Your world as an auctioneer can be famming and fast, depending on where you are. How many auctions you run a year or a month or a week can dictate your cash flow. So think about pulling that projection together. What do you need yourself to live? What do you need to cover each day or week? So work out what your fixed costs are. Insurances. Public liability is required in the UK, and in the US and other parts of the world there are extra insurances to cover the goods. So look at what insurance is required. If you hold some kind of client money, a bonded bank account may be required where you can't access that money. I recommend some good accounting software. QuickBooks, as you know, is our choice, so I would really recommend that you look at that. In short, if this type of business excites you, your character suits this type of work, you can make the events fun, you can get the premises right. Premises really are key. Promote it well, specialise in the right location, then this business should be fun. The very best of luck to you, and I really recommend that you use our templates.